Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for tonight's championship finale in the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. My name is Robert Hill Jr., and joining me tonight, as always, is my good friends Brent Jones and Chris Wright. Guys, how you doing here tonight?
I am doing great. I'm excited about calling this championship race. I got an opportunity to work with Gerald last night for the Truck Series and got to crown Scott Crump as the champion. And tonight, Scott gets to try to go for the double. But it should be a really exciting race, a mile and a half. Some strategy should play out. I cannot wait to get it started.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. You know, this track's been some good races in the past in this league, and looking like we're gonna have another one tonight.
As you can see on the race information tab, 77 degrees is the ambient temperature tonight, 56% relative humidity, partly cloudy with 2-mile-per-hour winds, and the track temperature 104 miles per hour. Of course, tonight is the championship race, but tonight we also race with heavy hearts in honor of Grandma Carol Richards. That is Ethan Birrel's grandma and a regular viewer here on the Elite Racing Network. And now we are going to observe a moment of silence as the drivers hit the grid, and tonight we race in honor of Carol. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Again, tonight racing in honor of Grandma Carol Richards, as well as racing for a title. Brent Jones, we're going to hand it over to you now to take us through the first 10 drivers here tonight.
First top 7 spots, Trey Holmes 8th, 9th, Ethan Stanley, and 10th, Kwame Scott.
And then 11th, we'll have a Leighton Norgard, Joe Francis, Jeff Green, Wyatt Knadel, Jacob Adams running out the top 15, Chad Frankenfield, Gerald Campbell, Jesse Rasimus, Mark Rebilas, Corey Abbott rounding out the top 20.
Position number 21 tonight, Brandon Ultra in the 45 alongside the 85 of Kynan Jones. Andrew Hardcastle in position 23 in the 22. Michael Hasek there in position number 24. Josh Robin, Michael Goodman, Jeff Story, Dustin Dorr, Harrison Talon, Dave Carpenter, Jake Cannon, Justin Vanderbilt, Harrison Hogan, and Mark Rebilas rounding out the field. He has taken the DOL. We are green here in the championship race in honor of Grandma Carol tonight. Of course, your championship drivers, Tyler Fode, Josh Adams, David Tooker, and Scott Crump all in the top 10, and immediately 3 wide to your championship contenders. Seth Rawls already falling back to 5th on the inside. David Tooker up through the middle. Scott Crump, that is a battle for position number 5, guys. So immediately these guys shooting out of a cannon, getting ready to jump.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed there was that inside line got a great jump. We saw Josh Adams immediately get to 3rd from 5th. See Tyler Fode go up there. Adams now takes 2nd from Tyler Fode down into turn 1. All of this going on behind our race leader, Jonathan Cutlett.
Yeah. These guys are wasting no time going after it here.
Now, off the air, we did do some championship picks. Brent Jones and David Huckleberry both opted to go with Tyler Fode, which is a very solid pick. Fode's been great all season long, while Chris Wright and myself have opted to go with the 56 of Josh Adams. But Chris had a chance to speak to our championship drivers before the race tonight, and it sounds like Scott Crump is very confident.
Yeah, Scott, I told Scott that he would not be my pick tonight. I picked Scott to win last night. He went on and won the race and the championship. So tonight I had to let him know, pre-race I wasn't going to pick him tonight, and he said he was going to go out here and try to prove me wrong. And right now Scott's the last of our championship 4, I believe, and he is trying to get up there to where Josh and Fode are. Tooker's also up there inside the top 5.
Yeah, so as you can see on our scoring tower tonight, folks, those championship drivers are indicated in green. So Josh Adams, the top championship driver right now, Tyler Fode in 2nd, David Tooker and Scott Crump, the remaining 2 championship drivers, they run 5th and 6th respectively. So this is a straight shot. Whoever finishes highest in the standings here tonight, or in this race, will be your champion. Obviously, bonus points and whatnot, not a factor here tonight. And just an update, the race format here, 100 laps, no stages, and 4 sets of tires on board these cars, 1 on the car and 3 in the pits. Let's look a little bit further back here, guys. Biggest mover thus far, Jay Kaner, up 8 spots, continuing his climb through the field, currently behind the Kynan Jones and Michael Hosick machines. Those drivers have all shown great gains this season, as tonight is the finale. It's the last opportunity for these guys to really show what they can do, as Kaner's looking 3 wide now. Hosick on the bottom, Kaner in the middle, Kynan Jones up top, and there's our caution.
No caution yet. There, the caution.
There's Harrison Talon. Everybody else. Harrison Talon involved. Kynan Jones. Kynan looks okay, guys. He does look okay. Jay Kaner was heavily involved in that. Michael Hosick as well. Harrison Talon was involved there. Let's take a look. Jay Kaner down into Michael Hosick, up into Kynan Jones. Jones will hit the inside wall. He should be able to get that repaired. But Harrison Talon, let's back this up a little bit further.
That's just, yeah.
Harry just flies in there.
Harry just stays on it, and
he just,
it's unfortunate, but that's kind of been what we've seen all season long. As we see there, tally issued to the 9 of Jay Kaner. That is from race controller Nick Massey. Shout out to Nick. He, I believe tonight is his final race as the race controller here in the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. He's done a phenomenal job, and he's definitely going to be missed. We've enjoyed working with him, and can't wait to see him on the racetrack next season in this series.
Yeah, lots of changes getting ready to be made here in the series. We're going to have Nick moving into a race car. He's not going to be coming back on Wednesdays. You got lots of moving and shaking right now.
Yeah, and speaking of moving and shaking, I hear we have an announcement later on during tonight's event around the halfway mark. Chris going to announce his home for the 2023 B season.
That should be exciting. My owner might be around somewhere and be part of that announcement as well.
I agree, and I just want to point out this car here, Chad Frankenfield. We give this guy a hard time all the time, but nobody loved to see him wreck more than Grandma Carol. That was her favorite thing to watch during these broadcasts, was Chad Frankenfield wrecking. That's a fact we found out yesterday. So kind of funny. And if Chad wrecks tonight, he can blame Grandma Carol.
Yeah, and I want to take a moment here too, and Ethan Birrel has became a friend of mine and all of ours. You know, Ethan is one of those guys. He's a good guy, and we just want to let him know that we're thinking about him, and hopefully they can get through all this, and he can come back, and whatever the first race back is for him, I hope he wins it in her honor, and I can't wait to get a chance to talk to him and whatnot. We hate when anybody's going through that, especially a close friend.
Yeah, Ethan's become one of my favorite, one of my close pals in this league, and pretty much since the beginning I've been in here, and man, it's just hate to see that, you know, to any family member, but more importantly, one that you're close with.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Ethan being my team owner on the truck side, and he's become a good friend of mine as well. More like family over at the Pro Edge and Fueled Up team, and seeing him go through this, I know he was very close with Grandma Carol, and she obviously watched a lot of the races, supported all the drivers from Ethan winning races to Chad wrecking out of the races. She loved it all, and it's unfortunate that we won't be able to see her watching these races anymore, but I know she's looking down from above, keeping an eye on Ethan, and hopefully Ethan can come back soon on the racetrack and see great success right away in her honor. But we are going to go green again next time by your top 10 as they run. John Cutlip, Josh Adams, Seth Rawls, Tyler Fody, Scott Crump, the top 5. David Tooker in 6th. Matthew Weeks, 7th. Ethan Stanley, 8th. Jacob Adams up to 9th. And Kwame Scott rounding out the top 10. Scott, of course, has been fairly strong this season as well, and has seen his share of fortune and misfortune throughout, but looking for an opportunity tonight to cap off the season with a victory. As the pace car is about to take the turn onto pit road, we're going to set these cars free once again. 9 laps down, 91 to go here in tonight's championship race. We're going to hand it down to Barney the Flagman. He's got that green flag in hand as they enter the Geico restart zone. Green flag, and we're back underway. John Cutlip with the early launch. 3 wide already back there. Gerald Campbell getting a little antsy.
Yeah, and I got a question here for you, Robert. Do you know who pitted there? Because this is a one-stop race. We've got some extra tires tonight, so this will be a one-stop race if it stays green.
Yeah.
I know Chad came down right there, and he is being super aggressive right now.
So drivers that came down pit road, Chad Frankenfield was down pit road. We also saw the 29 of Jess Story. The 71 of Dave Carpenter was down pit road. The 8 of Josh Robin also on pit road. Kynan Jones with his damage. Jess Story just went off the racetrack. Harrison Talon was also on pit road, as well as Michael Hosick. So all the drivers basically towards the rear of the field came down pit road. Taking a look at Jess Story, he is able to get back on the racetrack. I do want to take a look and see what happened, if we can pull that up here.
I think Harrison just blew up on the racetrack as well.
Yeah,
He's for 3 and 4.
He'll make it to pit lane safely.
Taking a look at Jess Story, dives to the inside of Justin Vandermarl, gets by the Justin Vandermarl machine, and then just gets a little loose, barely clips the ground, more than barely, and gets back on the racetrack. So no harm, no foul for Jess Story. Does lose positions, and yes, you are correct. Harrison Talon has taken it to pit lane.
Yeah, cold tires here are such a struggle in the first couple laps of this track, especially off of 4. Yeah, it's like it caught Jess there by surprise almost.
Couple close battles out on the racetrack here. That is Chad Frankenfield side by side with a Leighton Norgard. Actually, I do stand corrected. That is Andrew Hardcastle. Very similar paint schemes. Chad diving to the inside now of Brandon Ultra. So Chad looking to keep gaining spots. He's on new tires up to P17 now. Just ahead, we do see Barbecue Chip Man. That is Joe Francis, one of the simplest liveries out here, or paint schemes. Sorry, I've been so used to the open wheel side. One of the simplest paint schemes, but one of the most memorable paint schemes out here in the series is Chad looking for an opportunity to get by that number 50 machine. Josh Adams is closing on the race leader, John Cutlip. He was about 2/10 back, now a 1/10.5. He's going to fall back a little bit more. John's been very aggressive with the entries of these corners, but Josh Adams getting great runs off and being able to close that gap just a little bit each time. He's going to need John to keep diving a little bit further into the corners, wearing out those tires, and then you should see that Josh Adams machine move right by. And he's actually maintaining a little bit more through the corners here than he has in previous laps. So watch for Josh Adams to be right up to the rear bumper of that 28 machine in no time.
This is one of those tracks, where my friendship with Josh is pretty tight. We're pretty good friends. We don't live far from each other, and we race together all through the week, even when we're not racing an elite. And this is probably his best racetrack. He's really good here. He's got this place figured out, and he does something a little different with the car than most. Nick Massey is also part of our tight-knit group, and Nick and I drive the cars about the same. Josh uses a lot of brake. Even here, Josh is going to use quite a bit more brake than most. He runs a lot of brake pedal down in through the middle of the corner. He maybe doesn't hit it as hard initially as a lot of us do, but he will ride that brake through the center of the corner. And for whatever reason, at this track in particular, it really, really, really works great.
Interesting.
No, you're absolutely right on that. Josh Adams has been a pretty solid driver at this racetrack, looking for an opportunity to claim victory. And while you were talking there, he did take the lead from John Cutlip and has started to pull away 2.5 tenths now over the number 28 machine. That is Pro Edge 1 and 2 right now. David Tooker up in a position number 4. He's looking for an opportunity to go to the inside of Tyler Fody here. Seth Rawls doing a nice job up in the top 5 as well. Rawls, one of those drivers that's been consistent all season long, but just not enough to get there to the championship race here. But I think Seth's going to be pretty proud of his season as well, and look for that 25 to be in the championship circle next season.
And one thing we're seeing here, Cutlip, it looks like might have wore his stuff out trying to run out there in the lead. He is backing up. We've got championship guys 1, 2, 3. That 25 you're talking about taking fourth. You're going to have Scott Crump moving in here real quick. That 28 is backing up in a hurry.
Well, one thing I mentioned not too long ago was that he was diving deeper into the entry of those corners, and that's how he was able to maintain ahead of Josh Adams. But the thing with that is it takes more power and more force on those tires to slow that car down and make it turn when you're diving so deep in. So John Cutlip likely has worn those tires off of the number 28 machine about 20 laps in now, so a fifth of the way through tonight's event. And I wouldn't be shocked to see the 28 back up front later on tonight once he figures out kind of where the happy spot is with the corners.
Yeah, even a caution could help him here right now, but
He's about to back all the way up to, I think, about 8th place here.
Yeah, he's getting past for position number 8 by Ethan Stanley. John Cutlip is in position number 8. Next is Chad Frankenfield just behind. Frankenfield, again, on a little bit fresher tires, so look for him to get up to the John Cutlip machine and likely drop him potentially out of the top 10 here shortly.
And while we're racing here, I want to take a minute here, too, and talk a little bit about you, Robert. I know you guys are dealing with some fires. Hopefully that stuff can stay away from you. Do you have any idea what the outlook is, and if you are going to have to get up and head on out because of those fires closing in?
Yeah, so as of right now, here, I think we should be okay. A lot of smoke in the air tonight. I've never seen a forecast that just says smoke. That's unheard of for me, and the sky's just really like orange and yellow, looking like we're just gonna get bombarded with fire at some point. But a little bit down the highway, there's definitely a bunch of fires across the river on the Quebec side. A lot of fires as well out west, out east, down south. Everywhere there's a lot of fires, and no real rain in the forecast for over 2 weeks now. It hasn't really rained in about a month, and tonight they're calling for thunderstorms with no rain. So that's not usually a good
scary,
thing.
because that could make it worse. Lightning strikes with no rain.
That's exactly it.
Let me pause for a second. The other night we had those wildfire smokes, and I think what was it? What was the other one going on? Alberta. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you're correct. Alberta, Saskatchewan,
and
British
the smoke
Columbia.
has been pouring in here, and I looked at my phone on my computer Saturday night, and we had a brief thing where it said smoke on our for like weather update too, like around 9:00 at night.
Yeah,
here in the States
crazy.
we are seeing the effects of that. Is right now Chad Frankenfield is on the move, and he is in a hurry. Just broke into the top 5, making those new tires go, and he's hoping to see this thing stay green for a while. That way he doesn't
Chad's
have
found
to
his
pay a
buddy, and
price
he's getting
later.
bumped already by that number 90 machine of Scott Crump. Maybe Scott Crump was a big fan of Grandma Carol as well and looking to help her out by sending Chad around. But Chad Frankenfield looking really good out there, up to position number 4. Those fresh tires definitely playing a big difference. You know, we saw John Cutlip, one of the quickest in this series, I would say. Just misfortune left him out of this championship 4, but definitely a quick driver, now falling back to position number 8 due to those tires. And Chad Frankfield's driven up from position 27, I believe it was, from when he came off of pit road up to position number 4. So that is a phenomenal drive up through the field for that kick in the tires Mustang. And again, folks, you know, we couldn't do it without all of our sponsors on these cars. You take a look at the 56, High Noon, Barstool Sports, Tyler Fody with Blue Egg Marketing, and Hux on board there. David Tucker with GoPro, Chad Frankfield with Kicking the Tires. Stay Tuned Sports on the number 90. Various sponsors all throughout the field. Some of them are obviously fictional, but most of them are real sponsors on these cars. So check out these sponsors, support them as well. Support Blue Egg Marketing, Worldwide Technology Raceway, TA Services, Mark Rebilas and Rebilas Photography. Everything that you see on these racetracks is not possible without all of our partners and everyone behind the scenes that you don't see. Nick Massey, Dave Huckleberry, you guys, Chris and Brent, Chad Frankenfield, the rest of the administrative team. It is, you know, everybody plays a big part, and we couldn't do it without any of them. As we see a battle a little bit further back, Brandon Ultra working his way through, just got past Wyatt Canadle, now to the inside of Gerald Campbell, looking ahead to a Leighton Norgard, and just ahead of him, side by side, Jesse Racimus, Jeff Green on the high side, Racimus on the bottom. Here comes Gerald looking for an opportunity. So battles all throughout the field. It's definitely been a great race thus far. Here comes Jesse up to the side of Jeff Green. Every time we go to a battle in the rear of the field, it ends with contact.
Yeah, but a little contact's all right as long as nobody wrecks. There's really bumpy on the inside of turn 1 down there, so it's hard to hold that line. But on the long run, if you can do it, you will make time. As you see Chad Frankenfield moving around David Tucker third. I really think, too, right here, you already gave him a shout-out, but Dave Huckleberry is the most unsung hero in all of Elite. Like here we go, a Leighton Norgard. Oh, the Hux machine is going to spin. Oh, and he gets hit.
Oh,
Josh
the barbecue
Robin
chips got burnt.
Oh, we got cars coming in real late.
Wyatt just got hit again. Did Harry come back out on the racetrack? No, it was Mark Rebilas. Let's take a look on Mark's replay machine and see what just happened there. Of course, it did kickstart around that Leighton Norgard machine. So that is where we will start with the Mark J. Rebilas Photography replay machine. The 12... Oh, Leighton just comes down into Jesse. Jesse has to try to correct it. Unfortunately, nowhere to go. We're going to back that up a little bit more because Wyatt Canadle ends up involved as well. I think Justin Vandermarl
Gerald Campbell
may have gotten a piece. Brandon Ultra was Ultra clear of the... Oh, Gerald nowhere to go.
I think he just got through it.
Oh, he did not get through it. That was a hard hit for Justin Vandermarl. Oh, how did Mark get involved there, guys? Let's look a little bit further back as well. Mark Rebilas gets a piece. I think he got tagged by Hardcastle there.
Mark
just tried to get through it. Hit the inside wall. As the leaders do come down pit road, folks, Josh Adams, Tyler Fody, Chad...
Well, they did have an extra set tonight. Chad just used his early. So
there's 2 sets left after this stop, guys. So
except for Chad. Chad will just have 1.
No, Chad will still have 2. Chad will still have 2. Actually, no, I do stand corrected. You're right, Chris. Interesting. Okay, everybody has come down pit road, so you know what that means? That means it's time for our pit stop here. When we come back, we'll take you to the mid portions of today's race. This is the championship finale in honor of Grandma Carol, and a tally was just issued to a Leighton Norgard. Josh Adams wins the race off pit road, and we'll be right back.
isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here. It is the championship finale in honor of Grandma Carol here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to take a look at another replay. Chris, I believe, wanted to take an onboard look at the Jess Story machine. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. We're actually going to find Jess Story first. There we go. All right, Chris, walk us through.
You're just driving down the front stretch, and you're going to see a wreck.
There's the wreck up in the top left side of your screen. You can see the 22 of Hardcastle, the 70 of Rebilas getting involved. Here comes Joe Francis around with contact from Josh Robin. Wyatt Canadle dropping to the bottom. He's about to get hammered. Oh my, where is Jess going here? I have no idea. Oh my. Oh, he does get a little bit of left front contact.
That is netcode. That is netcode.
As you can see, it popped right back out. That is incredible. Heck of a drive.
Good drive
by Jess Story. Nice work, Jess, right there. Lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car machine. We're going to take a run through the top 10 as they sit. Josh Adams on the front row here alongside Tyler Fody. He's going to take the high side as Adams. Tooker and Frankenfield third and fourth. Frankenfield on the inside, Tooker on the outside. Kwame Scott, position number 5 alongside John Cutlip. Scott Crump in position number 7 alongside Ethan Stanley. Jacob Adams in position number 9 alongside Trey Holmes. And Holmes was very quick in practice, so keep an eye on him. Garrison Hogan back to the 11th spot. Seth Rawls lost a lot of positions on pit road, back to 12th now. Jeff Green 13th, Brandon Ultra 14th, Gerald Campbell in the 15th spot. Michael Goodman 16th, Corey Abbott 17th, Jess Story 18th, Matthew Weeks 19th, Jesse Rebilas in 20th. And rounding out the cars on the racetrack, Dave Carpenter, Michael Hosek, Josh Robin, Wyatt Canadle, Andrew Hardcastle, Justin Vandermarl, Kynan Jones, Joe Francis, and one lap down at this point, Dustin Dorr. Out of the race, Mark Rebilas, Leighton Norgard, Harrison Talon, and Jay Kaner. As the pace car making the turn onto pit road, now we're going to send it back down to Barney the Flagman as he awaits the leaders to enter the Geico restart zone. We're going to go green this time. Here we go. Josh Adams on the loud pedal. Tyler Fody backs up a little bit to the Chad Frankenfield machine. Now side by side is David Tooker and Tyler Fody for position number 2. Chad Frankenfield looking to get to the bottom. Fody sliding up a little bit. Tooker coming to close that gap as well. This is a very close side by side for these two down the back straight away.
Oh, Jesse Rebilas.
Oh, Josh Robin as well.
Josh Robin, Jesse Rebilas. We are still green. There are no cars coming. We're going to get a yellow,
I think, when Jesse starts rolling.
Oh, there goes Brandon trying the Jess Story.
And we're wrecking on the front stretch now as well.
Brandon Ultra, Jess Story.
Now that will be, I think,
we're still green, guys. We are still green. Here come your race leaders. We're going to jump back up to the front, see if anyone else opts to wreck in the midfield. It is currently side by side for position number 3, Chad Frankenfield, Tyler Fody. Frankenfield on the inside, Fody on the high side. Currently, your championship leader is the race leader, Josh Adams, followed by David Tooker. Tyler Fody in 3rd. Scott Crump, the 4th of your championship drivers, back in position number 6. Now Frankenfield up to 3rd, continuing that side-by-side battle. Now he looks to the inside of Tooker, not able to get there, but he is clear into position number 3. But Tyler Fody going to try to slide back. No can do this time. as it does look like the leaders are coming up on the rear. Jess Story. Story headed pit side for the attention of his pit crew. Josh Robin also entering pit lane, as well as Dustin Dewar. So a lot of carnage here after this latest restart. No caution. So very good to see that we're able to continue on, but unfortunate for those drivers that were just involved in those incidents. Chad Frankfield now looking to the inside of David Tooker. Tooker on the high side, Frankfield on the bottom. This is a side-by-side for position number 2. That is Jesse Racimus. You just saw low on the bottom there. He is heading pit side as well. So we are dropping like flies here in the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. 37 down, 64 to go, Chris and Brent.
Yeah, lots of craziness here. Oh, and we're going 3 wide.
Oh,
Jake
yeah, here we
Adams,
go.
Scott Crump, and the 92 of Ethan Stanley. 3 wide down into turn 1. A little Chad wide action in the turn 1 at Las Vegas.
Stanley on the high side. There we go. Tally was just issued to Josh Robin for the incident that just happened a couple laps ago in turn number 2. That was Robin and Jesse Racimus involved in that one. So issue a tally to Josh Robin.
And Chad is trying to get to the outside of David Tooker, and he's able to stay there off of turn 4 down into turn 1. Going to be side by side for second.
Tooker looking to the inside of Adams. Chad looking to the high side, now to the bottom. Switch over here. Here comes Frankenfield looking for position number 2. This battle is about to heat up. The kick in the tires machine nearly into the left rear of that GoPro number 19 for Pro Edge.
Or in this case,
you would think.
tires.
You would think racing these championship guys, you might only give them 90%. You give them a little extra room. I don't think Chad has that ability in the way he drives.
Chad's 110% all the time, every time. There is no lifting out of that kick in the tires machine. He would rather kick his family before he kicks anything out here on the racetrack. That didn't work very well, but here comes Jake Adams to the inside of Ethan Stanley.
I was saying kicking someone's left front. But...
Yeah, that's what I meant. As he gets to the inside of Ethan Stanley, moves up to position number 6. Now looking for position 5 as he looks to the inside of Kwame Scott. So Jake Adams on a bit of a roll here.
And Scott Crump has fallen back this restart. He's kind of dropped in back there, giving up a few spots here. Jacob Adams moving forward. Obviously, the Adams brothers there probably sharing some information. Good run for Mountain Man Motorsports tonight there. I know that the team owner and the rest of that team's got to be happy with the way this race is going as we approach halfway right now, as he is trying to make a pass on Kwame Scott.
Guys, this battle's heating up for second. They've nearly hit every lap, every corner. Frankenfield on the inside, Tooker on the outside. Now Frankenfield about to get to the inside of Adams. Not going to get there. Chad dove a little deep. So far, biggest mover, folks, is Garrison Hogan up 22 spots, followed by Chad Frankenfield, who is up 14 spots from his starting position. David Tooker, I think, is going to try to fall into line here, save his tires a little bit. He saw what happened with John Cutlip. Cutlip all the way back now in position number 12. So he went from the lead to 12th on a bad set of tires. But
new leader.
Yeah, new leader Chad Frankenfield. But one thing to watch here is he has one set of tires remaining with 58 laps to go.
It's playing with fire right there.
He's got to be careful.
Yeah, and what happened there, I believe Josh Adams let him go. Josh moved up and he said, this isn't a championship guy. This is a guy that I don't need to be racing. There's no reason for me to battle him and race him for nothing really right now at this point. So I think that's what happened there with Josh.
And that's exactly it. They got to pick and choose their battles as championship drivers. You don't want to dive in there and potentially wreck with a guy that's not competing with you. You can lose this race, but you can still win that title. So if I'm Josh Adams, right now I'm pretty content with position number 2.
Yeah,
and one thing here, you know how Chad is. You know Chad has given everything he's got, so here in a few laps, she'll pass him back pretty easy because Chad's going to wear his stuff out, and you're going to be able to pass him back, and it'll be fine. Chad's one of those guys, like we like to call a new tire hero. Yeah, Chad's going to go get it all on fresh tires.
Andrew Hardcastle pulls down pit road. He has called it a night. Sorry to interrupt, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say also that Chad was 2/10 faster the lap prior to the last one than Adams and Tooker.
I just think Chad's call right here to leave himself with one set of tires with over half a race to go is not the move. Now, Chad's won a lot more races and a lot more titles than I have and probably ever will. but I just don't think that's the right call. As Jacob Adams has
depends on how
gotten
it
by
plays out.
Kwame.
Oh, they're still side by side.
Back to side by side.
Jake and Kwame are still side by side.
This is going to go on for a while. But yeah, it definitely depends how the race goes. And it may work for Chad, may not. As we see another battle starting to brew up here. Jeff Green getting to the rear of Seth Rawls. Rawls getting to the rear of Scott Crump. So that should be a battle soon for position number 8, 9, and 10 out on the racetrack. Just does look like Kwame has cleared Jake Adams now. Adams now going to have to deal with Ethan Stanley. Stanley looking for an opportunity to get by that number 52 machine. And like you mentioned, Chris, I'm definitely proud of the performance that Jake has had this year, as well as all the drivers from Mountain Man. Kynan Jones, he's run really well, but he's had bad luck. If he gets good luck, he's going to be a guy that could compete for a playoff spot. That car is torn up tonight, and I definitely think he could have been running a lot further up in the field. Jess Story, one of our newest drivers on the team as well. It seems like every time that he's out there, something goes wrong, and it's not his fault. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do next season. But here comes Josh Adams. Again, like you mentioned, to the inside of Chad Frankenfield, battling for the race lead. You got to wonder if those tires are starting to fall off already.
Oh, yeah, for sure they are. And
yeah,
they're thinking, all right, I let you go 15. And it looks like Chad let him go pretty easy right there. Didn't put up too big of a fight. Now, Tooker did race Chad. So now Chad might race this guy. So we're seeing Chad with a little give and take out here. He let the car go that let him go, and he's going to race the guy that raced him.
And just looking ahead on the field, Brandon Ultra not too far ahead of David Tooker with a slide job. David Tooker is trying to put on a show here. He knows what he's got to do to get up there and get into this title fight. I don't think Chad liked that very much.
And he had to make that move now in order to get back to Adams there, though.
50 laps in, 51 to go here. Going to be very interesting to see what happens. All of your championship drivers up inside the top 10. Top 3 now is your top 3 championship drivers.
Here we go.
Oh, this is a gamble right here.
Chad's coming. Wow. Did he take fuel only potentially?
No.
So he's coming to take his last set of tires right now.
This is what we call throwing a Hail Mary and then some. This is what I call throwing your race away. Yeah, we saw him do this last night in the truck race. In a battle for the championship, and he did this, and it did not work out.
Like I was noticing throughout the run, he would get to the point where he would get within a second and a half, and he would just.
That was not a long enough run to do that. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Chad. We'll keep an eye on him throughout the event. I don't think we'll see him back up towards the front for a sustainable length of time. He should be able to drive out there at some point, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there with that number 15 machine. He is back out on the racetrack now. As your leaders go by the 45 of Brandon Ultra. Ultra goes a lap down for the first time tonight. Of course, we saw him in an earlier incident. Some damage on that number 45 car. Definitely not the run he was hoping for, but as always, a pretty nice looking car there in honor of Adam Petty on that 45.
I think what Chad maybe should work on this offseason is how to take care of his tires a little bit better, because strategies like this, they'll work 1 out of 15 or 20 times, but most of the time they're not going to work. And Chad has shown that he's got the pace to go do that, but everybody else does too. When Chad's flying through guys, everybody else has the ability to do that too, but they're just saving just a little. There's a couple guys, Chris and Brent, that could probably make a strategy like that work, and I'm looking at Scott Crump, Trey Holmes, guys along those lines that are very good at saving tires and running well on old tires. So you've seen Scott Crump win multiple races with a one-stop strategy when other guys pit 2, 3, 4 times. So yeah, you just got to manage your tires. You have to manage your tires. He played a strategy too at the start, and it worked out. He had his track position. He was level with everybody with 1 stop to go. And now you've taken that. You played the right strategy to put yourself up there in the shot to win, and then you pitted. I mean, he was falling back, but I mean, I don't know that he would have fallen out of the top 10. He could have stayed out there and just made it work and said, okay, if we catch a caution, that'd be great, box us back up. But now you put yourself in a spot. You have no more tires laying. So you don't even you need this thing to go green the rest of the way if you want to even have a shot at the top 10, because I think when these guys all decide to pit, they're going to be able to run him back down and pass him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I do want to just take a moment here to give another shout out to our sponsors here at the Elite Racing Network and the Elite Racing League. Of course, we did hear from TA Services, and we'll hear from them a little bit later on as well. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan, and of course, Worldwide Technology Raceway was home to NASCAR this past weekend, and they are one of our premier partners here in the Elite Racing League. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, close to the Gateway Arch, home to a 1.25-mile oval, 2-mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. And, of course, Rebilas Photography, rebilasphoto.com for all your photography needs, from pictures of Indy 500s to Daytona 500s to pictures of lettuce on your salad. Check out rebilasphoto.com and let them know that the Elite Racing Network sent you. And, Chris, when we have a little bit of a lull now in the battles for the race lead, why don't we go ahead and talk about your plans for 2023B?
Yeah, well, before we do that, I want to give a shout out to Mark Rebilas here. And if you follow him on Twitter at Rebilas Photo, you'll see all the stuff he does. He takes pictures of sporting events. He attends a bunch of sporting. This past week, he was down in Dryden, Texas, taking pictures of tornadoes, like storm chasing, everything. It's always exciting. You never know when you wake up where he's going to be. It's one of those things that I always try to check out during my day, is seeing where Mark is and what he's taking pictures of. So if you want to get pictures of a wedding or anything like that, reach out at Rebilas Photo on Twitter and check out all of his work. It's great work, great shots this week of some tornadoes if you're into that sort of thing. So he'll take pictures of anything and everything if you just give him a holler there on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. Mark is one of the best photographers out there. And speaking of Mark, here he comes back on the racetrack.
That's right. Got the sponsor plug in. Now it's time to get out there for something to show off. And as for my plans for next season, I am leaving Lake Norman. I believe that was kind of teased about there in the Cup race on Wednesday night. And I will be joining your team, Robert, driving in not just the Cup car. I will be also driving in the Truck Series starting next season, which I did not announce where, but I did say last night in the truck broadcast that I would be joining the Truck Series and as a participant there this next season. So I can't wait to get on the ground running and hopefully get the victory lane a little bit more than we did this past season.
Yeah, definitely excited to have you on the team, Chris. And we already have some sponsor news on the truck side. You'll be sponsored by Hux. Dave Huckleberry coming on board that machine. I was talking to him earlier tonight, and he's going to sponsor you in the Truck Series, and he'll be on board with me as well in the starts that I do make. I should miss the first 7 due to prior commitments, but after that, we're going to come in and try to steal some trophies while helping my drivers go for a championship, and I'm definitely excited to have you and see what we can do.
Yep, can't wait to get going. It should be fun. Get out there with some new teammates, as we see on the screen. Fody going after David Tooker. But yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a fun season in the next-gen car once again, and moving into. I've never driven the Truck Series in Elite, so it's going to be exciting to be switching over and working for you. And I believe Nick Massey's also going to be leaving the Lake Norman side of things, at least for the Cup side. I don't think he has announced his plans. He's still deciding where he's going to run next season, but he will be in the Xfinity Series that you're watching right now. So it should be a lot of fun, lots of new faces, new places. But I believe one thing I can go ahead and say that's going to stay the same. Robert, you and I will be back for sure to broadcast these Monday night races moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We will be back for 2023B. And, you know, obviously tonight's the finale of this series, but next Tuesday night will be the season opener of the 2023B PitPassNetwork.com ARCA series, where I'm hoping to have Chris join me for some of those broadcasts.
Are you asking me? Because if so, I'm in. You know, I got to bring some good insight. It was a lot of fun to be in the initial season of that and win that championship and win the first championship for the ARCA series. Got to be there, and I got to win the championship, but Ethan's the guy. Ethan Stanley had his coming out party in that series, so that was a lot of fun getting to race with him and see him evolve into the guy that runs up front no matter what he's in.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely would love to have you on those broadcasts. Unfortunately, Wyatt will not be joining us this season due to some stuff in his real world life coming in the way. But definitely appreciated him for season 1. And we'd invite Brent Jones, but Brent Jones is going to be out on the racetrack in that series, trying to steal some wins and show us what he can do.
Hey, now calm down. Oh, you meant Tuesday, right?
Tuesdays, Brent Jones. Tuesdays.
Oh, I'll be back Mondays next season. Tuesdays we'll be back.
Yeah, Brent Jones is going to be... Oh, this is a close battle here. As Brent Jones telling us he'll be back next season with us on Mondays. Definitely looking forward to having him out here with us. And Tuesdays, be sure to tune in.
Me to a cane.
Tyler Fode, David Tucker battling. Here comes Kwame Scott to pit road. This should kickstart our cycle of pit stops here. Maybe. We're still 35 to go. I can't math here tonight.
That's on the fuel window for sure, at least.
Dave Carpenter also coming down pit road. We'll have to wait and see if anyone else opts to come down.
Stanley's pitting this time.
Ethan Stanley going to pit from position number 8. That's something to keep an eye on. Tyler Fode, David Tucker continuing to battle here for position number 2. Here comes Chad Frankenfield to the inside. Chad's got to go. He's got no more tires. His pit crew's gone home. They're not even eating ice cream. They're just on the plane back to the shop. Fode gets ahead of Tucker, but Tucker going to get a nice run off of the exit. He has to back out of it. Otherwise, they would have made contact. Currently, your top 4 championship drivers are your top 4 on the racetrack. Josh Adams, Tyler Fode, David Tucker, and Scott Crump. Here comes Seth Rawls down pit road. Rawls is in his box. Now Jake Adams coming down. He's going to lock those tires up and head his way pit side.
Yeah, we're in the middle of pit stops here. One thing that's not happened yet is our championship guys, they are staying out there for now. And they are currently back to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do you want to be the first guy of these championship drivers to bite and go down for your pit stop? I don't think so.
No.
You wait.
Here comes Chad to the inside of Josh Adams. Move Chad Frankenfield back to the lead lap. Just looking, though, guys, Chad has already been out on these tires for almost 20 laps. Jeff Green comes down pit road, but as I was mentioning, Chad, almost 20 laps already on these tires. So even if we do get a caution and he's able to rejoin the rear of the field, I just don't see anything out of that 15 car.
Yeah, he has no tires left.
Not enough tires, not enough time. It's pretty much, once he throws a gamble late race, it's all over for him.
31 laps remaining. Your top 10 as they run through this pit cycle: Adams, Fode, Tucker, Crump, Hogan. Your top 5: Cutlip, Weeks, Holmes, Canadal, and Abbott. As here comes the good man, Michael Goodman, coming down pit road, going to service 4 tires, fuel, and a beard trimming on that number 44 machine. So we keep an eye looking to see who will be the first of our championship 4 to bite. Jake Adams back out on the racetrack, already looking to work his way up. Here comes Trey Holmes and Matthew Weeks coming down pit road. Those drivers running 7th and 8th. Matthew Weeks had to really hammer down those brakes. So those are 2 Pro Edge and fueled up drivers that just came down pit road. I wonder if Josh Adams and David Tucker might be on the same strategy and looking to come down pit road.
I think Tucker is trying to get to some, like, Tucker wants to pit right now, I think. He's the guy that's struggling out of these championship 4 right now, that's backing up the hardest. Fode seems to be moving forward the best. Scott Crump's also looking like good long run pace.
Yeah, here comes Crump for 3rd right here.
Josh seems to have good long run pace as well. Fode seems to have the best long run pace, but is Josh just sitting there running as hard as he needs to?
Scott
Crump has to lift. He's going to get hit from behind.
Oh my, Crump with contact from Garrison Hogan nearly sends him around. I think he might come pit side here shortly in that number 90 after a little bit of a slide. Here he comes, Scott Crump.
Fode's in.
Fode, Crump down pit road. Crump has to slam on those brakes. Watch for Josh Adams and David Tucker to be not too far behind here. Brandon Ultra also coming down pit road, currently running position number 24. 28 laps to go, 73 laps in. 2 championship drivers on pit road, 2 championship drivers on the racetrack. We're keeping an eye on Josh Adams and David Tucker
Oh,
Here
Tooker's coming
comes
in.
your
Here
race
comes
leader,
Tooker.
Adams and David Tooker, both coming down pit road. Garrison Hogan moves to the race lead ahead of Wyatt Canadle. Is
Ooh,
Canadle
Tooker
getting
right
passed?
on the entry.
Corey
Yep,
Abbott
big
still out
moves
on the
being made here.
racetrack. This is going to be interesting, guys, to follow along and see what happens with just over 25 to go. Only 8 cars have stayed on the racetrack. Garrison Hogan, Wyatt Canadle, Corey Abbott, Joe Francis, Gerald Campbell, Michael Hosick, Chad Frankenfield. That is 7. Here comes Hogan down pit road. That might be a little quick. He gets it down to speed. Justin Vandermeer also pit just ahead. Chad Frankenfield back in the top 10, running in the 7th spot.
But you just
Wyatt
have to think-
Canadle, your race leader now in the number 84 for Hux. Let's give one more look at that beautiful number 84. That rear end, just ignore it. No rear end on that 84 machine. That is Dave Hux on board of that car. Great to see that out on the racetrack here tonight, and hopefully again next season. But again, just continuing to shout out Dave Huckleberry and everything he does for us, guys. He's the glue that keeps ERN together, that's for sure.
Yeah, as you were touched on earlier, I'm going to be running ARCA next Tuesday, and we are actually looking for sponsorship with the 51 Carnet Series.
Yeah, if you want to get on board with Brent Jones, hit him up. Get on that car, show him your support, and you never know, he might put you in victory lane at some point.
Now we've gone about 4 years.
Yeah, one thing here, too, boys. Tyler Fody has a big lead. He just pitted one lap earlier. I think Josh Adams was just really conservative getting in, and maybe a little too conservative. And now
nearly
there's a
2
big
seconds. Nearly 2 seconds between Fody and Adams. Those are the top 2 championship drivers right now, running 11th and 13th respectively. Scott Crump, the 3rd place championship driver, in 14th, and David Tooker all the way back in 17th position. So big changes there in your championship standings. Wyatt Canadle does continue to lead as he gets passed by Justin Vandermeer and Michael Goodman. Expect him down pit road shortly in that number 84 machine. 24 to go, guys. We're getting down to the late stages of tonight's race. We're going to take one final commercial break here, and when we come back, we're going to take you to the finish of the championship finale in honor of Grandma Carol.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back in the championship finale in honor of Grandma Carol here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Your race leader is Joe Francis, as he was looking to come to pit road there, but does not get down. Tyler Fode up to position number 3 as he battles with Kwame Scott, able to clear Kwame and work his way up. There's still a large gap between Fode and Adams. Actually, that gap is closed a fair bit here, guys, as Josh Adams is coming up right to that rear end of Tyler Fode. So we'll look for Josh Adams to try to reclaim the championship lead very shortly. And, just before we get back to the racing action here, obviously tonight we're racing with heavy hearts in honor of Grandma Carol, but we want to give a shout out as well to her family, her friends, and everyone that knew her, and of course Ethan Birrel, our great buddy there over at Pro Edge, who unfortunately now lost a good friend and his grandma, which is definitely a tough time. And I want to give a shout out as well to Grandma Carol's good friend Betty. Obviously, losing a friend is always tough. And also a shout out to Austin, who's a great part of Pro Edge as well, and great supporter of Ethan Birrel, and basically just like family as well. And I'm sure this is just as tough for him, losing Carol and now having to console his good friend Ethan in the months leading up to his wedding. So very tough for Ethan and the entire Birrel and Richards families over there. And we just want to let them know that they're in the hearts of all of us here at Elite, the Elite Racing Network. And personally, myself and you guys, I know you're all there for Ethan and everyone as well.
Indeed.
But back on the racetrack, Joe Francis does come to pit road. Tyler Fode reclaims the race lead over Joshua Adams. Jacob Adams up to position number 3. Kwame Scott into 4th. David Tooker in 5th. Garrison Hogan 6th. Matthew Weeks 7th. Seth Rawls 8th. Chad Frankfield 9th. Trey Holmes in 10th. And Scott Crump, in position number 11 now gets by Trey Holmes to move to 10th. As that's a bit of a battle there. Now Crump on the high side of Trey Holmes. Move Crump to 9th, Holmes to 11th, and Frankenfield to position number 10. I think this battle for the race lead is about to get pretty hairy up here, coming to 12 to go next time by.
Yeah, Josh has got 1 lap fresher tires. I don't know how much that'll play a role, if any, but Josh has been the best car tonight, I believe, so it's going to be hard to pass. Fode's going to, with the championship on the line, it's going to be a tough pass to make.
It'll depend on more how they got through the traffic when they did come out of the pits.
Tyler Fode does continue to lead now, 12 laps remaining. Josh Adams 3/10 back. We'll see how quickly he can close this gap. Jacob Adams currently holding on to position number 3, closing the gap a little bit. Now you see him falling back, so that's going to continue to fluctuate as well. David Tooker is going to be looking to get by Jacob Adams as soon as he can for a shot at this top 3 and as close as he can get to Joshua Adams and Tyler Fode. Of course, most of these guys probably at the point with no tires remaining on pit road, which could come into play if we get a caution within the next couple of laps. Maybe somebody had a set on pit road, able to use that to their advantage and try to work their way up past these guys and steal a victory in tonight's finale.
Yeah, we're coming to 10 to go here, and it's down to a duel between Tyler Fode and Josh Adams. And they have a set. Everybody has a set lane except for Chad Frankenfield. If a yellow does come, I think you'll see most everybody come down pit road and get their last set of tires.
Yeah, of course, Chad took his last set of tires about halfway through this race, so he's trying to do this last stint on 50-lap old tires. Currently running in position number 12, was as high as about 6th on this set, and now all the way back to the 12th spot. Going to be interesting to see if he can hold on to a top 15 finish. Obviously, Ethan Stanley, Jeff Green, Michael Goodman looking to get past him there. Dave Carpenter as well. Wyatt Canadle, Corey Abbott, Gerald Campbell still on the racetrack in the lead lap. Coming down to the final few laps here. We're now 9 to go. 3.5 tenths of a second is the gap now. 4 tenths between Fode and Adams. Garrison Hogan about 2.8 seconds back, battling with David Tooker. Jacob Adams just moved out of the way, let those guys go on by. to battle for position. Hogan going to try to run down Adams and Fode. Mark Rebilas is pitting out. Back up at 8 to go now. Guys, as we get down to it, do you think Josh Adams has something here for Tyler Fode?
I think if he's
Doesn't
saving,
look like it.
he's got to start making his moves soon.
He had to cover a big gap there. I don't know how much he was able to save. It does not look like he closed up, and now Tyler's pulling back away. So I think without a yellow, I believe Fode looks like he's the guy that's in the driver's seat of this right now.
Yeah, Fode has looked really strong here tonight. I thought Josh Adams had a bit of an upper hand earlier on, was able to get by Fode and pull away a little bit, and now finds himself chasing. He's lost about 0.3 of a second over the last couple of laps. I don't know if maybe there's some sort of strategy here that Josh Adams is trying, but I think at this point you got to be flat out, you got to be balls to the wall trying to get by that number 40 machine, as Adams has cut about 0.1 of a second into that gap. Maybe he was holding back a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but there's a lot
close.
that could still happen. We could still get a caution, and that's what Scott Crump is sitting there hoping for a yellow to come out, as he's got no shot to win this thing without a yellow. David Tooker as well. And I personally believe Josh is sitting there wanting to see the yellow. Everybody but Fode, I think, wants to see a yellow.
Yeah, Adams only gained like 0.5 last lap. He's going to either pick it up or need a yellow here.
Yeah, coming to 5 to go this time by the Blue Egg Marketing number 40 machine, looking to take the championship away from the 56 of Josh Adams as they come across the line. 5 laps remaining. This is going to be interesting to see if Josh Adams has anything for this 40 car. They're coming up on a lap car here in the next couple laps. I do believe Gerald Campbell is that car. Yes, it is. Campbell straight away ahead, likely not to impact this battle for the lead at all. But like you mentioned, Tyler Fode really just hoping that they stay green at this point, while Josh Adams is hoping that they see a yellow.
Yeah, and there could be a yellow right now. Scott Crump is back here in a dogfight.
Yeah, Crump just ahead of Joe Francis and Jonathan Cutlip. Francis a lap down. Crump in position number 8. Cutlip in the 9th spot. This could get interesting, like you mentioned, if anything does happen here. Coming to 3 to go this time by for Tyler Fode. Brent Jones, every time you've been up here in the Elite Racing Network booth, we have seen Tyler Fode either on the podium or in victory lane, which I guess would still be on the podium, but Fode's just been really good with you up here.
I don't know. I'm not the. I'm God knows I'm not writing the checks for this to happen though.
Yeah, I think Fode needs to give you a cut of that championship purse that he is now 2 laps away from as he's coming around to the flag here. We will see popsicle sticks in the air from flagman Barney. 2 to go for Tyler Fode and Josh Adams, your championship leaders. Garrison Hogan running 3rd. David Tooker, another championship driver, in 4th. Jacob Adams in 5th. Kwame Scott, Matthew Weeks, Scott Crump there, another championship driver, in 8th. Jonathan Cutlip in 9th. And Trey Holmes in 10th. Just a lap and a half to go for Tyler Fode.
Yeah, he'll come down to 3 and 4. He's just hoping to see the white flag and not see a different flag before he's able to get there. He's coming up on pit entry right now.
Off at turn number 4, here he comes to the white flag. It is Tyler Fode leading the way. Next flag will end tonight's race, and Tyler Fode is hoping that Josh Adams doesn't somehow get by him here, but I just don't think it's possible. 1.4 seconds is the gap.
Oh, Scott Crump just got turned sideways into 1.
Oh my!
Crump able to catch it. He's fine back there in the 9th spot. Tyler Fode coming around off of turn number 4 for the final time in the 2023 A season. Checkered flag in the air. Your champion, Tyler Fode, on the number 40 Blue Egg Marketing driver for Lake Norman Motorsports. I completely butchered that there, but Tyler Fode is your champion. Josh Adams 2nd, David Tooker 3rd, and Scott Crump 4th in the championship. What a season by these guys, but wow, Tyler Fode has been absolutely phenomenal this year.
Yep, it's been a great time over here seeing how these guys do it, and Tyler's a really good driver. It's a really good team.
Look at the respect that he's getting from these drivers. David Tooker, Matthew Weeks, Garrison Hogan, all up there to share the love with Tyler Fode, giving him some taps. He's going to burn it down here as he comes to that front straightaway. Look at that number 40
and he
machine.
won that thing on pit road. His pit entry, he
Yep.
made up 3 seconds on Josh Adams on pit road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
made the
getting in
difference.
and off of pit road and the pit stop itself. That's where this race was won tonight without a late yellow. Just incredible job by Fode to push that hard with everything on the line there, and to have the balls to push it that hard and that much on the edge in the pit road. And Josh took it a little cautious, and Josh might regret taking it cautious, but I mean, if I was sitting there in his spot, knowing I had the lead by about a second, I probably wouldn't push it too hard in the pit road either.
Absolutely not. As Tyler Fode does celebrate his championship here, we also saw Josh Robin out there doing a little burnout, of course, Tyler Fode's teammate, as we wait for the drivers from the podium to join us up here in the booth. We see Tyler Fode doing a little bit of a
And I'm
reverse
not a fan of
victory
that.
lap here.
Why is Josh Robin out here celebrating?
Well,
I mean,
Chris, you know what? What's more important right now is Tyler Fode doing the reverse victory lap. I believe this is in honor of Grandma Carol. So really cool, really classy touch here by Tyler Fode in honor of Grandma Carol, of course, and his great competitor, Ethan Birrel, who's lost his grandmother. That's really cool to see, and I got goosebumps right now watching this. So shout out to Tyler and shout out to everyone here tonight that supported Grandma Carol, continues to support Ethan Birrel, and of course has been here all season long with us on the Elite Racing Network. We're going to continue to work to get those podium drivers in. Does look like we have Garrison Hogan standing by in the waiting room. Why don't we go ahead and bring him up now for a discussion with you, Chris and Brent.
First of all, Garrison, congrats on your run tonight. Best of the rest. Take us through your night, and how much more do you think you could have got, or did you race any different at all with those championship guys out there?
Well, yeah, being conscious of that, I was trying to, give everybody room, and like the incident with Crump off of, I think it was 2, he almost, I think, got in the back of Tooker, and he let up, and I was like letting off to try to get him up. I knew what he was trying to do, and I hated that I got into him. I think he was one of the 4, if I'm not mistaken. So, I apologized immediately because I, didn't want to hit him or anything. But everybody else, I was trying to, be respectful. Took her at the very end, even though I knew I had the pace. I was trying to push him up there at least to like 3rd for a second. So, maybe if a caution came out, he had a chance. But I was out there to win, of course, and came up a little bit short. But I mean, it was a fun drive. I loved it. Driving from the back to the front with these new pedals. It's the 2nd race on them, so I was pretty ecstatic for it. I think I had pretty good pace there at the end and probably through the middle of the race too.
Yeah, once again, congrats on your run, Garrison. I will hand it over to Jones here and see if he has anything for you.
Howdy, Garrison. This season you kind of been in and out. Did you feel like you could have done anything different tonight? Because you showed a lot out there tonight that was really good out there.
I mean, yeah, it's about just showing up and running the races for one. If I have a full season to run, which I will in the B season, so surprise, I'll be in the Xfinity and the Cup Series for the full time. I didn't make the 2nd round of Road to Pro this year, so maybe it was a blessing in disguise. It gave me a little bit more time, so I'll just kind of work on my craft and I guess focus on doing some other things with the league and some fixed racing and have some fun with it. So I'll try to win the championship in both next year.
Awesome. Kind of fitting. All right, I request you to 500 to win. Let's go get some more. Any shout outs?
Yeah, of course. All the Pro Edge guys, Fueled Up Racing, all of my friends there. We have JD Designs on the car, of course. That's Jonathan Cutlip, which, by the way, he had great pace, and I think he got held up a little bit coming through the pack with me, and I felt bad for him. But, John's a great racer, great painter, so check out his JD Designs cars. They're really good. Other than that, 213 somewhere, you guys are here in the broadcast booth, Chad and everyone that puts on the league, and congratulations to Fode. I know a lot of people think, from a couple weeks ago at Wilkesboro, I was trying to kill him. I wasn't trying to kill him or anything. Me and Fode just we go at it sometimes just because I think we know like each other's weaknesses and strengths, and we're both strong, so we know that we can kind of lean on each other and do some things that people can't. So congratulations to them on winning the championship tonight.
That is Garrison Hogan, your third place finisher here tonight at Las Vegas. Garrison, congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Next up in the booth is your runner-up tonight and runner-up for the season, the number 95 machine of Joshua Adams. Standing by with Chris Wright.
Well, Josh, I know this isn't quite the conversation you wanted to have after the race, but you had a good race. I ultimately thought you were the best car that first half, and then the pit cycle just didn't work out. Take us through your season as a whole, and maybe what more you needed to do tonight to be able to get up there and make that pass for the championship's winning move tonight.
I mean, what more I needed to do tonight was not be such a granny coming to the pit entry. I guess I had, I think, like 8/10 the lap before we pitted, and let him on just one lap go up to like 2.5, and I just drove my tires off trying to catch him.
So is that what happened? You just ran out of tires when you got there and couldn't quite. You got to him, but that's all you had.
Yeah, it's definitely all I had.
Well, ultimately, it was a good season for you. You were one of the 4 here tonight, ended up second. I know, like I said, second's not what you wanted, but congrats on your season, and I will hand it off to Brent Jones here and see what he has for you.
Yeah, congrats on your season, Josh Adams. Very good racing for this season. Was there any saving at all on that last run, or are you just going like heck in hopes you were getting him there?
Yeah, looking back on it, I probably should have saved for 5 laps or so, and then tried to run him down. But you know, you just want to run that guy down, especially when it's for the championship. So, like, I knew I had an uphill battle just because the tires don't really fall off at night, and like I just had to try and get to him as fast as I could, and basically right when I got to him, I just didn't have anything left.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, anyone to shout out, drivers, sponsors, the local neighborhood?
Yeah, obviously, congrats to Fody on the championship. Yeah, definitely wanted that one. I personally feel like I gave one away tonight. I don't think they had anything for me, but he ran obviously a good season. I think he won like over half of these chase races, so he's definitely a deserving winner. But we're all thinking about Ethan and his grandma Carol, so that's kind of who we were thinking about tonight.
Indeed, again, condolences to Ethan and his family for his loss. And thank you so much tonight, Josh Adams. Great season once again.
Thank you.
Congratulations to our runner-up here in the points this season, Joshua Adams. But our final interview here tonight will be with your champion of the 2023 A season, Tyler Fody.
Well, Tyler, you were able to get out there and play the strategy right. You had a great pit in and pit out, and ultimately got yourself out there in front of Josh. Take us through your season as a whole and the race tonight and how everything worked out to get you to victory lane.
Yeah, man, unbelievable. I'm pretty ecstatic right now to be able to pull this off. Yeah, the whole night was I thought I was in a good position qualifying wise. I knew it was going to be really hard to pass on the long run, and I just had to maintain track position, which I managed to completely give that up on the first lap to Josh, almost wrecking out of 4. I don't know if that was caught or not, but yeah, immediately lost position to him, and then was just kind of riding, trying to feel out the best line and the best way to drive this thing and still have speed in it. We had a couple early yellows, but man, that last run was it was crucial. Tooker obviously got the jump on the restart, so I knew I was going to have to pass 2 guys there, but Chad kind of made it interesting, really driving in and mixing things up, so that helped out a little bit. But yeah, I just had to pace myself. It seemed to get better as the night went on. I had Kwame kind of coaching me through there a little bit on what to be doing. And yeah, it really started coming alive the last like 10, 15 laps of the run. Tooker was falling off. Had a great battle with him. It was pretty close, and he was making me work for it, but got by him, and then thought I had lost too much time to Josh, but surprisingly I started still picking up time on him right before that pit cycle. And Kwame was telling me the whole time, like 5 laps leading up to it, like you gotta pit before Josh, which totally goes against how I normally do long runs because I like to have the better tires. But he was like, no, just trust me, you got to get in before him. And yeah, we had space behind me, so I threw it in there. Had a crazy pit entry. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I mean, I was borderline spinning out trying to get down there as fast as possible, which after talking to Josh, I feel like that might have been the difference, the pit entry, because he said he was a little conservative. But man, yeah, the whole pit cycle, got out in front, had a good gap, about 2 seconds, and was able to just run about 80%, let him use his stuff up till he got to me, and then just go. And yeah, it worked out pretty well. Didn't run into any more traffic, and we stayed green, so really happy to be here.
Well, Tyler, congrats on your championship season. Hopefully I get to hold that trophy here before I leave the team here in the next few days. But it was a lot of fun being teammates with you this season. And, man, I know you're disappointed after not getting that truck championship last night, but you were able to come back tonight and play the strategy. And like you said, those pit entries, that was a big difference. And I will hand it off to Brent here and see what he has for you.
Yeah, I think we lost mathematical comments on in the booth this season, and this guy has won. I think we're now like almost double digits now already.
No.
All right. Was there any part of that race, especially at that pitch, where you thought, well, this is it, I'm pretty much toast?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it was still just under a second to Josh when I finally decided to come in, and it was like, I'm gonna win or lose it right here. And so, I mean, I really had nothing else to do but just try and get in as hard as possible. And like I said, yeah, I drove it in deep, and when I hit the transition, the thing started coming around. But ultimately, I got right to the line at the perfect time and got a bunch of time made up there. So yeah, I mean, once that was taken care of, like I said, we just had to manage the gap.
Heck yeah. Any sponsors, people you want to shout out tonight, Fody, real quick?
Yeah, Blue Egg Marketing, obviously, for being on all my cars this season. Hux as well. Got to thank my teammates who ran with me throughout the year. Josh Robin for putting a full-time effort in and making the playoffs, getting 2 wins, sweeping the super speedways. That was super awesome to see. Big shout out to Kwame, being a massive help all year, whether it was finding speed and just being consistent with him. He was a huge help tonight. Yeah, and shout out to you guys. Big shout out to Brent Jones, actually, because ever since you came in, like I said, I don't think I missed a podium since you've been commentating, and we ended up winning the last 4 races in a row, so that was pretty cool. Pretty awesome feat.
I think I missed 3, and you've still done them, so I don't know what it is at this point.
I don't know, but all I know is when you're up here, we run good. So big shout out to y'all, Robert, Brent, Chris, and anyone who took part in the booth throughout the year. So super happy with this, and we'll go on and maybe get another one before this week's up.
Heck yeah.
Well, folks, for the final time, that is your champion this season, Tyler Fody. Guys, it has been a wonderful season here. Obviously, all good things do come to an end, and that includes the 2023 Rebilas Photography Grand National Series.
Let me pump the brakes here. We have a special person that wanted to come up here and gave the okay to come up here and talk and said he wanted to, and it's the guy that we've been talking about tonight. Ethan's going to come up here and say a few words. So
let's do it.
We are now joined by Ethan. Ethan, we are all sorry, everybody on behalf of Elite Racing Network, for what's going on in your personal life right now. But how's everybody holding up, and when can we expect to see you back on the racetrack?
Well, Chris, I hate to inform you, but this is not Ethan. I'm actually at Ethan's house right now. I was at Ethan's house for the Portland International race, Portland race in NASCAR for the Xfinity Series. I happened to be up here for the weekend, and my flight was actually midway through the race, so I had to reschedule that so I could perform this race in the final 4. So I'm here at Ethan's house. I'm on his rig. I got acclimated to his whole rig and his whole setup and everything. But just to even shed light on that whole situation, you know, this race, going into this race, it was definitely some heavy hearts. the entire Birrel family, even Rachel's family. She's sitting over there on the couch next to me over there. Everybody in this family, the Birrel family, everybody. Carol, rest in peace. I love you. You're one of our biggest supporters out there and supporting this team and me in my career, even in real life racing and on the simulator. So to know that I have such a great, honestly, a second family out there, knowing that they support me and everything that I do is awesome. So huge shout out to everybody. Grandma Betty, Austin, I know you're there. Ethan, you're there. I love you, buddy. I know this is hard for you and you've been through a lot. Just know that I love you and I appreciate everything that we've been through together in our 10-year friendship. So thank you. But it was just a tough race. Like I said, just kind of not in the right mental capacity to do this. But I knew I had to just pull it together and fight through it. And we fought an uphill battle. We were close, close in that halfway point, man. We were battling for the lead. I knew I had a teammate in front of me, Josh Adams, and I knew the goal was just try to stick with him and maybe not pass him, because we're just trying to lay laps down, and I knew I wasn't that great on the long run, so I decided to try to make the push later in the run, and by then Fody made the push up front, and it was just a tight battle, and I knew the call was to try to beat him on pit road. And we were talking about it in Discord, and not even 2 laps later, Fody makes the call to pit. So right away, we kind of knew we were on the back foot going into that last stint. But we fought hard all race long. I knew the goal was just try to push 100% as much as possible, and I felt like I did that. I gave it my all. So even though it wasn't quite what we wanted, we still managed to get a good season out of it, and can hang our heads high on this one for sure.
Well, congrats on the run tonight, David. You pulled a fast one on me. I thought it was Ethan down there when I saw his name, but just make sure Ethan gets the message that everybody knows, what's going on, and we're all thinking of him and his whole family out there tonight.
Absolutely. He's watching the race over at his grandma's house right now. I imagine they're all sitting on the couch watching it. So just know, everybody watching at home, I did it all. I tried my best for you guys. It was hard, but I hope everybody, Robert, I hope you showed the stickers that we put on for G Muffin. It was a great tribute. Thank you to John for doing that. It was such last minute thing, but he did it for me, and we had everybody in the Pro Edge Fueled Up garage that wanted to support. So it's just got a great group of friends surrounding. Even though it's some dark times right now, we got some great friends around us that are here to lift us up. So we're gonna be fine, and we're gonna keep pushing through, and we're only gonna keep getting better.
Indeed, condolences from one family member of the team to the other.
Absolutely, and that is your 3rd place championship driver, David Tooker. David, congratulations on a great season and a great performance tonight through everything that's going on over there.
Yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody at Pro Edge Racing. It was kind of a crazy weekend for sure, at least on my side. Flying up here, getting to see a great NASCAR race, and then all of this is happening. It's just that's the unfortunate timing of life, but everyone's doing the best they can, and that's all we can do right now. Wrap our arms around Ethan and his entire family, and just really keeping them in our thoughts, and they have my condolences. My entire family sent their condolences to you, Ethan, if you're watching. Just really happy with how this weekend went as far as the sim race, but everybody at this Pro Edge garage, they really helped me get up to speed in practice. All my teammates, Jonathan Cutlip, Matthew Weeks, Joshua Adams. It's so many people across our teams, our affiliates. There's a lot of people that are involved to make this thing run as well as it does. Everybody at Elite, all of our admin, everybody involved. You guys up here in the booth, you guys do a great job. I know you guys are all racers, so for you guys to be up here in the booth and doing this for us, really appreciate it.
And we definitely appreciate you, David, and all the drivers here in Elite. And again, congratulations on a great season.
Thank you, buddy.
Guys, before I get to your final thoughts tonight, I want to go back to Grandma Carol. And, obviously being part of Pro Edge, and I know how important she was to Ethan. And Ethan's like a brother to all of us at Pro Edge. Brent, you've seen it. And Chris, you'll likely see it as well, just how close everyone is over there. And to lose a part of your team is tough. And Grandma Carol was one of the best out there. So to lose somebody that's so important to Ethan and to Pro Edge and to Elite as well, one of the greatest fans of Elite ever, is now no longer with us, and it's really sad. And I just want to pass on my condolences once again to Ethan and his family and all the friends over there, Grandma Betty and Austin, David, Rachel, Ethan, everybody over there that's suffering tonight, and everyone that's been around Grandma Carol throughout her years. And now I'm going to hand it over to you guys for your final thoughts, and then I'll do one final shout out.
Yeah, first of all, Teaser and Louise Gonzalez-Murray want to send condolences to Ethan and Pro Edge. Like, that's a sad time for that entire team right there and their family, and just we extend their hand. It's kind of a part of their alliance of sorts. But yeah, this has been a pretty entertaining season in this series. I think Ben this booth been part of it as a driver, part of it as a guy in this booth. It's just, you see it two different ways, and it just kind of makes it a little more, worth, being part of. And I can't be back being part of this next season once again in the booth for a good majority of these races.
Yeah, and it's been a great season. Congrats to Tyler Fody and obviously all the Lake Norman team. They put up a great season, but Josh Adams really came on strong when the playoffs started. David Tooker had a great season. We heard from him. The one guy we didn't hear from tonight, Scott Crump, so I'll plug him, right here. He won the truck championship last night and ran a great race tonight. Ultimately didn't get the finish he wanted. I don't think he was quite as good on the long run as he's wanted to be, but everybody over there on his team and everybody at Stay Tuned Sports, we'd like to thank them for being a sponsor for Elite. I believe they're going to be back with the Truck Series again next season. So everybody over at Stay Tuned Sports Podcast, go give it a listen if you haven't. And congrats to him on his championship run. And even, the guys that weren't involved in the championship, everybody who was a part of it, everybody who added something to that series through the year. It was a great season. It was a great championship fight, and I cannot wait to get it started again here in about 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, some final thoughts from me here tonight. Obviously, great race. Congratulations to Tyler Fody. He's been phenomenal all season long. Josh Adams, David Tooker, Scott Crump, everybody in this Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. Obviously, thank you to Mark Rebilas for coming on board, putting a lot of money into Elite and sponsoring various events and series. We couldn't do it without him. Thanks again to Chad, Nick Massey, David Huckleberry, Chris. You've been a great partner all season long. Brent, it's been one heck of a time having you up here. I can't wait to do it again next season. And thank you to everyone for tuning in all season long, including you, Grandma Carol. I know you're watching down from above, and it's been an honor to bring racing to you each and every Monday night here on the Elite Racing Network. And we'll be back in 7 weeks' time here, July 24th, for the season opener of the 2023 B season. But for one final time, thank you to Worldwide Technology Raceway, Blue Egg Marketing, TA Services, of course, Rebilas Photography, and all of you at home. For one final time, this has been an Elite Racing Network production. And on behalf of Chris Wright, Brent Jones, I'm Robert Hill Jr. Have yourself a great night.